Hey YouTube, we're back at the AI Day test loop. It's a Sunday afternoon, just trying a little bit of a different camera placement to see how well this is viewable for everyone. And I expect it to be a pretty quiet drive, but we're going to go ahead and give it a shot. Here we go. So a little bit slow on that first turn there. I mean, there's no cars around, but that's a pretty busy intersection, especially when school is in and so forth. So definitely would like to see, you know, how the creeping behavior improves in future versions of the beta. We'll see if we get some good cross traffic. It's, even though it's a Sunday, we may get a fair bit of cross traffic here at this time of day, as we can see here at this light. But when we come back around on the loop and have to cross this street again with no signal, we'll see if we get a little bit more of a challenging situation. Good smooth turn there. Sometimes it slows down in the middle of that turn. I think it's mainly if there's other cars around or pedestrians, it's just being a little bit more cautious, but right now, pretty smooth. Slight tap on the brake for that gray SUV on the right there that was pulling out, but really great so far. Okay, a little bit harder braking there than I'd like to see. Would like to more smoothly get into that lane, so we'll see if 11.4 helps us out there. Interesting that 11.4.2 just went out to a lot of people, but us that are on 2023.12.10 are actually ahead now of where 11.4.2 is in terms of the wide release. You know, it's on 2023.7. So interesting to see when they sync up, you know, getting FSD pretty much on the same version as you know, public releases for all the additional features that come. So looking forward to that. It seems like they're getting pretty close in getting those branches kind of merged together so that they can release FSD to those that have it and still have all the feature parity. So that's great. Probably a little bit busier here in the downtown area. So we've got cross pedestrian traffic. We got a pedestrian just hanging out here on the right hand side and a door opening. Wow, handled those both really, really well. So far, a really great test loop here. For those that are not familiar with these videos, this is the same route that Tesla used in their video during the original AI Day back in 2021. And so if you go back and watch that video, we're going to be just doing that same exact loop to see how a real live, you know, a real live FSD beta car does on that same loop. Great. Car handled that really, really well. And we're going, even though it said navigation complete, we weren't quite to our stopping point, so that was a little bit interesting. And stopping here for the yellow light. It handled those pedestrians there on the right really well. I think they were considering which side they wanted to go, and they were a little hesitant. They were moving to both. And I think so far the pedestrian, you know, interactions have been really great on this drive. We'll see with this light after this one, we often have challenges getting onto this next street correctly if it's a red light. So we'll see if we hit it at red or if it's green. Got pedestrians hanging out here on the corner. We'll see how well it does just moving through this intersection. We've got a green light. And it looks like we'll have a green light going through this intersection. So I'd like to see it just smoothly come up to speed here. This is 45 miles an hour. It was checking to see if there were any cars coming. And it just did that really well as well. So far so good. Really smooth drive this time. We've got bikers in the right here, so it looks like they're going to be turning right or staying in the bike lane. So we should just... Now here I'd like to see it get over into this right lane a little bit quicker. And we're kind of waiting for this biker to get forward, and now we're free. Now we got this cross turning traffic. We'll see how aggressive it is in trying to move up. Okay, so it moved up. It's a little aggressive there. Like here, it's a little aggressive. I'm watching it. I mean, it's really kind of deciding if it's gonna go. And we're kind of cutting off this car, and they were pretty kind and let us in. But okay, so that was good to see what it's doing at that intersection. I was watching it, and it was clear that that car was gonna stop for us, but technically, you know, we were kind of edging forward, and you know, trying to see, I think what it's trying to do is determine if those cars are going to go in the left-hand turn lane or going to go straight. And it doesn't quite know, and it's, in that case, too aggressive, edging forward. I know it's kind of getting to the creep limit, edging to see when it's its turn. But in that case, we kind of cut off that turning car, and just because they were, you know, kind of kind to us, they let us in. They had kind of stopped, so it took its advantage, but it was being very aggressive, and pretty much all those cars turning were probably looking at our car and saying, is this car just going to go? I don't think we were, you know, obviously not in any danger, otherwise I would have taken over, but I was kind of letting it go as close to the limit as we possibly could before intervening. Now going to the limit here to see around the corner. I can just now see her on the corner, so it made the decision to turn right. A lot of pretty blind, you know, corners on this route, so a lot of the times we got to creep forward enough for the side cameras to be able to see enough to make a safe decision. I know hardware 4 autopilot and FSD hardware is just coming out. It looks like some of that's coming to Model Ys now, but it doesn't look like it's added, you know, yet the additional cameras that are in the front of the car. So, you know, not sure that's really going to help with these kind of visibility scenarios. We have pedestrians crossing here on the left that are blocking the cars on our left, but there were cars on the right, so we didn't go. We're blocking the crosswalk. Pretty much have to at this point to be able to cross this street. There's a pedestrian just hanging out on the right, but we can't go until all these cars go through. And now we're moving forward, and we're kind of out in the roadway. And so I'm going to move us forward. So like there, you know, it shouldn't have moved forward that little bit that it did. The car to the left, I think, had to slow down a little bit. I couldn't back up because we had the pedestrian that was going around behind us. And so I just kind of waited until I could push it through that intersection. Again, that's a really tough intersection. It's kind of that, what I call unprotected straight, where there's no signal and you got to cross 4 lanes of kind of faster moving traffic. So a little bit of a safety intervention there. I mean, we weren't in any danger, but had to push on the accelerator to push us through the intersection to get out of the way of the cross traffic that was in, you know, in the left-hand lanes there. Really great with pedestrians, like they're crossing the street, really natural. Got a runner on the right here who went up onto the sidewalk when he saw us coming around the corner. So he handled that really well, and we're going to put in the final destination here. So on that one intersection a ways back, you know, I'd really love to see that the car just waited, you know, until all of that turning traffic that's coming at us has essentially stopped. You know, I think that's what a human would do in that instance. I get that there's a left-hand turn lane and there's a straight lane, but with the amount of space there is there from the turning cars to where we're positioned and then to the next light and the left lane and that's turning left in the straight lane, there's not enough time to make a decision. Is this car going straight? Are they going to get into the left turn lane, give us space to get into that straight lane? So really in that situation, I'd love to see Tesla fix that it kind of knows those distances and that it's better off just hanging out and waiting to make a decision to go. This is that challenging T intersection where we got the school. Again, it's a Sunday, so no pedestrian traffic, no crossing guard, but we've got this hump we go over. One thing that's interesting, I don't do a test loop for this, but as we're driving straight on this road in our daily driving, it doesn't slow down for that hump. It's kind of weird because normally if it sees speed humps, you know, it's slowing down to this kind of 17 mile an hour, you know, standard that I think you'll see in a lot of other people's videos. I think it's set pretty much to go down to 17 miles an hour. But for whatever reason, it doesn't do that on that hump. My guess is it doesn't because there's a crosswalk going across the hump, which I think is a little bit of a different scenario. And so I'm not sure if it just thinks that it's a crosswalk and there's no elevation raise there. But I definitely obviously like to see it, you know, handle that better where it's not trying to go over it at like 25 miles an hour. Okay, great, YouTube. Well, this is the only video I'm going to do today. It was just kind of playing around with the camera angle to see how it works better for all you, and also a little bit of the image stabilization. So if you like the videos, leave a comment and thumbs up, and I'll continue to make them. Thanks so much.